Sam said there's skin drama in Overwatch. What's the drama? I know you Rivals Frogs love your drama, okay? So I'll give you a little taste, all right? I'll give you a little taste. For the last 2 years or so, you could say, there's been a trend in Overwatch 2 where more popular characters get more skins. The most egregious being Kiri. But like at the same time, Kiri in a lot of ways is kind of the face of Overwatch 2. If you went to any conventions or anything like that when Overwatch 2 came out, it was always like people cosplaying Kiri, people talking about it, online stuff. Like it was pretty much everywhere. It almost became like new Diva or new Mercy, right? Which means that they probably were selling a lot of skins and it was probably making a lot of money. And Overwatch 2 being a free-to-play game, obviously they want to make a lot of money off the game. They have to. If they don't make money, then the game won't thrive. If the game doesn't thrive, then it doesn't get content. Game doesn't get content, then they won't make more money, and that's how you kind of spit out and things go to shit. Whenever there's big collabs, arguably, big collabs are probably some of the times I would imagine have the biggest spends or have the biggest times people come in and spend money, right? So they want to maximize that to be things that people actually want to buy. Some of the more recent ones that got people really upset, I would say, were the Mercy skin. You know, I could flip into the in-game and show you really quick because I have a lot of them. There was a Mercy skin for Gundam, and a lot of people were really upset that this was a skin that was given, as opposed to other characters that could have gotten it. So people were like, what the heck, you know? I forget who was some of the, like Pharaoh was one of them. There was a few others that people were like, these would fit better. Echo was like, these other characters should have got it. And then you look at someone like Kiri, and like you can see on the left here, there's a bajillion legendaries. There's a whole bunch of collab skins. There's one. There's one. Like she just gets a lot, right? And then there's obviously another one that's coming up. So what has happened over time is certain characters like, say, Lucio, Zarya, Sojourn, and many others too, Baptiste, don't get very many skins. And so we've hit this weird timeline where the game of Overwatch itself is actually really good. Like the base gameplay has a little bit of something for everybody. If you don't like 5v5, you can play 6v6. If you don't like 6v6 or 5v5, you can play Stadium. That's the bucket I'm in at the moment. But the more casual side of Overwatch is starting to get very restless with the game because their only piece of connecting media to the game is through skins. There's no cinematics, there's no like anime series, there's no story. The PvE missions were supposed to be a story that never released, and so there isn't anything connecting the public to the characters anymore other than skins. And so when a lot of their quote favorite characters don't get skins, they're like, what the like, I don't feel like I'm getting anything at all. The drama was around the Street Fighter collab. And so here's the skins that are coming out in the Street Fighter collab. And you might notice here, Kiri's down here in the bottom right. And then you'll also notice that Juno is actually Chun-Li. So Chun-Li, everyone thought was gonna be Mei. And so there's a few things that are very interesting here. Widow getting a skin. Widow's one of those characters that's gotten a ton. Kiri gets another. Juno gets another. If you haven't seen, Juno is also quickly become almost like a Kiri 2.0, and already has a mythic, has multiple collab skins already, has 2, has a 3rd on the way, has another legendary, and obviously the mythic itself. So people are like, what the hell? How are characters that are like brand new coming out and getting a bunch of stuff when, say, for example, Venture, who came out slightly before, has just 2 legendary skins, one of them being a collab, the other one being this newer toxic one, right? It's very interesting, and a lot of people were clowning on this too. You know, starting a petition is like, okay, I get it, but I think they have a good point, right? And I want to offer a middle ground that I think that Overwatch is doing right now as like a potential, like, hey, like, we should give them a little bit of leeway here. It's quite obvious that characters like Kiri, Juno, Mercy, etc. are the hard carry financially. I think we can all probably agree that those are probably the hard carry financially. what this is they've done in the Street Fighter collab, the first time they've ever done it is they've expanded past 4 or 5 skins. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And if we're going to expect that in most of these collabs, you're going to get some of the big heavy hitters because they make the most money and they're more of the face, right? By expanding it past 4 or 5 characters to 7, 8, 9, maybe even potentially 10, you can start to give skins to these other characters as well that don't get as much while also still going in on the heavy hitters, right? That doesn't mean they don't have a point though. By the way, I just want to read it really quick, just to read what their issue was. Overwatch skins are a major topic within the community, and not always with best reasons. Many players are frustrated with certain heroes that receive significantly more skins than others. For example, Mercy, Juno, and Kiri often get skins, while heroes like Lucio, Baptiste, and Zarya, and others frequently are overlooked. Community is calling for a more balanced distribution for skins across all heroes. The issue is especially important for players of colors. Fans have been vocal about wanting more and better skins for darker skinned heroes like Lucio, Baptiste, Sojo, and others. There's also been a strong desire to see more black hairstyles represented in skins and on more new heroes. At the same time, many heroes, regardless of background, are underrepresented in terms of cosmetics and deserve more attention too. Representation matters not just for the most popular heroes, but for everyone's favorites. Every player deserves to feel welcomed and seen in the Overwatch community. Sign this petition for fair skin distribution in Overwatch 2. Let's get some love for your favorite heroes too. I thought this was the funniest thing ever. I've never seen this before. I've never like opened like page like this. The decision makers: Overwatch, Blizzard, no response, frowny face. It's just so funny. Is this normal? Like, is it like, how does this work? Like, how do they respond? I'm just curious. Like, when I was looking at this earlier, I started giggling to myself, and that's what I was giggling at, because I was like, what the is that? I've never seen this before. But to be fair, I think they have a good point. I do think they have a good point. It's probably the only, or one of the only big holes in Overwatch at the moment. I think this Street Fighter collab, at least from like Twitter perspective, I didn't really see it anywhere outside of Twitter, to be real. But and you gotta think that that's, you know, that's only a like part of a demographic, but they do have a point. And I think the Street Fighter collab is a good example of it. So it is kind of a little bit, at least in my opinion, a little sad to see like this was the one that got most people like really upset, because this is the one that I would argue is the closest towards working, like towards like giving other ones other ones options. Like Sigma's here, Hanzo's here, Winston's here, and Zenyatta's here, right? When was the last Winston collab skin? I don't know. Hanzo? Forever. Sigma? I don't even think he's ever gotten one. And Zen got one with Avatar, but other than that, I'm not really sure if he's ever gotten one. So like, there's at least 4 characters in here that don't get them that often, if not at all. And then obviously you have 4 heavy hitters. So, I don't know. I think they have a good point, though. I think they have a good point. I wonder if there's other solutions that could potentially be had. But for anyone who's wondering, there it is. That was the Overwatch skins discourse you were wondering about.
As someone who just started playing this game 1 week ago, the fact that the only problem is who's getting skins is pretty damn good.
Yes, that is true. But I would argue too, as somebody who's always been like, you know, even if things are good, why not be better? That doesn't mean you couldn't strive for it to be better. And I think that's probably a way they could improve a little bit. But you're not wrong. I think it's pretty lucky at the moment. I don't think that's a major issue. I think among a lot of players it is a major issue. It doesn't have to be a major issue for everybody. It's not a major issue to me, because skins to me had never been the most important thing in this game. But there are to a lot of people that is the most important thing to them. And I don't think just because they have a differing opinion on what they think is important, that doesn't mean it's not valuable, you know?